Welcome to the Hanuman Healing Hour podcast. This is Hanuman. I hope this finds you in great health and spirits. So, the Hanuman Healing Hour and myself are partnering with Baba's Feed Project. It is an organization that goes into northern India and delivers a variety of things, amongst them the food packages that they deliver are extremely healthy. They're a lot of food. Basically, it is an entire box of food that feeds a family for a week. They also have other options, though, to feed families for longer. If you enjoy this podcast, I would very much suggest going to their website. The website is babasfeedproject.love. If you do have any questions, you know where to reach me at the Facebook, Hanuman Das Love. Just before I got to join this really, really nice organization, I went to a local conscious festival that has been going on for about 4 years now. And every year I get the opportunity to open the festival, and I've started doing meditations, which eventually we will do on this podcast. They're I am loving awareness meditations. So basically the idea is we sit down in a group and we use that as a mantra. We do a centering technique where we envision ourselves taking prana in from the sun, and by doing that it opens the heart space. And you know me, I'm all about the heart space. So it was a very interesting weekend this time. Every time is really interesting, but this one I got really deep into getting to walk around, meet people, discuss everything. I had quite a few people come up to me and talk to me about the meditation. I got the opportunity to really talk to them and get a feel kind of for where they were at, and it's very interesting that us as a collective are starting to come together, and you hear a lot of times you hear about these bad things going on in the world and everything going negative, right? And we all get a little bit, I don't want to say afraid, but a little worried, right? Well, a lot of times by just doing a practice, any real practice that you come up with, that you own, that is yours, right, will happen. It'll help you, you know what I mean? It'll help you in a variety of ways, but really opening up the heart as a conscious being is something that I believe, and I've seen that really works for people. It gets inside of their heart. It basically, you could really shut down because of trauma, and it basically opens you up. It allows you to be a more light and more loving person, a light being, if you will, right? We are all those type of star seeds, and there's many schools of thought, right? But they really all kind of come together when you start opening up your heart, and through walking around this weekend and doing these workshops, I got an inner voice that told me to start doing these type of workshops regularly, to start doing them periodically, like weekly and maybe even monthly, and so this coming Wednesday I'm going to start doing a satsang in the park. So if anyone is in the Tampa Bay area that's listening to this podcast, feel free. We're going to be at All Persons Park at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. And I know it's a little short notice, but I'm going to try to do them every week. So if you don't catch this one, don't worry too much. There's going to be more. And doing these workshops and getting to see how everybody is starting to come together, it really encourages me, because when I was going through recovery, I had a sponsor, and he would always talk about the we, right? The WE with a big W. And that really stuck with me, right? So, yes, in recovery, there's many different thoughts and, higher powers and whatever you have, right? But that that idea that we are all in a situation, we've all been in places maybe that are not the best for us, or maybe aren't the most comfortable or loving spaces, right? And especially if you've ever been in an addiction, or you understand what I'm really talking about, that idea of having having a group, right? That can be very powerful. It can give you a lot of courage. It can give you a lot of strength. So that's something that I want to cultivate with these workshops. I do want to do them online. So if you at any point would like to join online, feel free to reach me out at the Facebook, Hanuman Das Love, and feel free to message me. I will, if I get enough people that are wanting to do it, we'll make this thing happen. And, I was looking through some of my books, and I do a lot of studying on my own, and I own a copy of Ram Dass's Words of Wisdom. Right? So one of them that I was looking at that really struck me with what had been going on, and the workshops and the festival and things like that. One of his quotes, and this is Ram Dass saying this: if you rest in silence, those you meet will have their spiritual hearts resurrected. And to me, that really got me, right? I'm somebody that really tries to open my heart to all aspects of this spiritual journey, this thing we're on, right? Whatever you want to call it, we're on something. It might not be, a thing, but we're on something. You got to admit that, and further down in the quote, it says, I have learned to slow down and not move as fast through things as my mind would like me to, but to feel at home in this process, see the process, and predict are so interwoven that getting there is half the fun. How you get there is as much a part of the game as getting there. And to me, what that means is enjoy the journey, right? We're on this loving spiritual journey. And if we don't enjoy it, what the hell are we doing, right? We're just doing another thing. So you really got to dive into it. You got to get in there deep and do the damn thing, right? And by doing that and practicing it, your heart's going to open. It may hurt, right? It might not be the most fun thing in the world at times, but there is a fruitful endeavor on the other side of that. And that kind of leaded me into another little quote that he has, right? And what he's saying is, and this is his quote, in most of our human relationships, we spend much of our time reassuring one another that our costumes of identity are on straight. And that's kind of the game. That's the part of the matrix, right? Ram Dass talks about, I'll pretend I am who I am if you pretend who you are. And we're kind of all just playing a game. You know what I mean? If you have a job and you go into a job, especially like in the service industry where I'm at, a lot of times you just got to play the game, right? You might not have the nicest customers, or you might not have the greatest day, or you may run out of something, right? But if you've ever been in any type of service industry, or given any type of, like worked in a food kitchen or anything to that effect, right? You know that things happen. You know that At some point, there is going to be something that is not always positive. And that leads me back to talking about developing a personal practice. Whatever the practice is, it's yours. Make it yours, right? Behind me, I know you can't see at the moment, but that's going to lead me to another thing real quick. I have a puji table, and puji table is a altar that you put certain items on, including pictures, little, like I have a few Hanumans on there, right? It's a place where you can come, a place where you can come home, right? I have another teacher, Bhagavan Das, that talks about if you make a place for her to come, and he's talking about the mother or whatever you see as the feminine aspect of humanity. If you make a place for her to come, she will come, right? It's like the old if you build it, they will come thing. It's true. They do. You know what I mean? When I sit in front of my puji table and I go to meditate, real things happen. Real insights come. Real realizations flourish and flower. And by doing these things, by doing these practices, right, even if it's 5 minutes a day, what ends up happening is you develop a space. You develop a area in your mind where you can step back and look at, is this action going to be of a loving kindness awareness? Or is this just an ego popping up going, I'm going to honk at you because you stopped in front of me and you're the asshole. I'm not, you are, right? That's not the attitude we want, especially in this new earth. We want to have an attitude of, I see you, I love you, I may not agree with you at times, but I love you. And by doing these things, by making these practices, right, by joining these projects, these organizations of service, there are many ways of yoga, right? You have karma yoga, where you jump in and you serve. You don't really expect anything, but you do it. You serve. Doing these practices is going to develop an area in your mind that allows you to have peace. You may not think about it when you're starting it out. It might not seem like it when you start it out. But if you do a practice right, you make a habit out of it, what happens is that space opens. And, really, this podcast is part of my space. It's the old MySpace, right, where you put the picture up and you tag everybody and it was all fun and crap. It's my space. You see what I'm saying? And by developing a space, you develop a way so that when we, with the big W, come together, it's in a loving way, right? There may be times where it's not the best or whatever you say, but there is going to be that space. So I definitely encourage you to start a certain practice, a personal practice, anything really that might develop a area for you to have that calm but yet loving space. And for me, doing this project, Baba Feed project, it really gives me an opportunity to reach out to more, to get the message of Ram Dass, Neem Karoli Baba, all those people that have come before us, right? The enlightened beings that have been here before us, that have kind of lit the way, right, for our quote unquote generation and the generations to come. Because we do have to continue to cultivate these ideas. We have to continue to bring them to people that may be younger than us, or even people that are older than us, that are in a space of, I don't want to be in this type of atmosphere no more. I think there might be a better way. There is. And we can really, really start opening up this new idea, these new places, these new atmospheres, these new psychological endeavors. And we can really, really bring about that new earth that I don't know if you maybe haven't heard of, but it's here. It's starting. You can already start to see in some of the areas of American politics and things like that, that the old negative is going away and that the new positive is coming in. And that's something that's really going to start blossoming over the next couple of years. I don't want to say that I'm a person that frequently has communications with things, as in other beings that may not be on this planet or that may be in this planet, because they're all here. Maharaji says it's all one. It's all here right now. All of it. Anything you can imagine is all here right now. And we can really do good. We can really progress society to a way that is fruitful for everyone, including people that we may not even think need that fruitfulness. But we all do. We all need that love. That's really what we're all searching for, is that type of comfort, that love, right? When your mother would hold you as a baby and allow you to suckle her breast, that is a love that we are all searching for. And there are ideas in yoga, there are ideas in Eastern philosophy that can really help transform this Western idea that I don't need nothing, I'm man. Yes, that's true. You can be like that, and that may be fine. But embracing your feminine, embracing your divineness, and for the men that listen, embracing your masculinity, but yet being an integral and honest man, is embracing your divine feminine. Even if your truth, your masculine truth, may seem harsh or may seem very one-pointed, you are still speaking your truth. And there will be a process where your truth turns into a loving truth. It might not sound like it when it comes out your mouth. It might sound like crap and bullshit, but it's you speaking your truth, right? And further into this season of the Hanuman Healing Hour, we're going to explore, not only with me talking, but also Charity, who is joining our podcast as one of the other whatever you want to call it, podcast speakers, in addition to having quite a few guests lined up. We're going to start making this podcast a very learning endeavor, not only for you as the listener, but also for me as the host, right? Because I'm not perfect. There's still things that I do that I really wish I could change. And I want to grow with you as a podcast, as a family, as a group. So once again, if you feel the need to reach out to me, Hanuman, you are more than welcome to message me on Facebook. It's Hanuman Das Love. And also, please check out Baba's Feed Project. Again, their website is babasfeedproject.love. They have a lot of great things. Actually, today, they just dropped these handmade blankets, and they are so beautiful. Like, I love Ganesha, and they have this beautiful, like insanely beautiful elephant, like full-size blanket, huge blanket, insanely beautiful. So I definitely recommend that you at least check them out. If you don't have the opportunity to donate money, or if you feel like you might just, want to look around their website, they have a merchandise section that has so many beautiful products, and all the proceeds go to the project, and eventually that leads to them getting more food and more items for these people in northern India that may be not able to get them for themselves, or maybe in a situation where they just can't get food at that time, right? They have bundles where you can send food packages You can send clothing packages and really help society. So I definitely encourage you to check them out. And I definitely encourage you to stay tuned to the Hanuman Healing Hour. Much love. Namaste.